Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RT. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the review and validations of grant eligibility criteria for regional councils. For the international scene, political transition in Mali, opening of a new series of consultations. Welcome to our newsrooms. On this Friday, 11 September 22, the main data related to the evolutions of the COVID-19 epidemic are as follows. 0 patients declared and 319 tests performed, 0 cases diagnosed positive, and 0 cases of death. For the general balance sheet, it is summarized as follows. 70,954 tests have been performed, 5,394 tests performed, 5,327 test cases have been declared cured, and 61 deaths due to COVID-19 infections have been recorded. Let's remain vigilant and respect the barrier measures. Let's protect each other. A workshop to review and validate the eligibility criteria for regional council grant was held yesterday, Thursday, September, in INAP meeting room. These are the grants that should be provided for them to promote local development as part of the support program for decentralization and local initiative funded by the European Union and implement through the operator expertises France, which is consistent with the strategy and roadmap of the Ministry of Decentralization. The opening ceremony of the said workshop, to which is the regional councils, the main stakeholders were invited, was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry in charge of decentralization, Mohamed Issa Faraj, also present in addition to the expert from the French Expertise Office, where the representative of the Ministry in charges of decentralization, a representative of the European Union, donors, as well as the head of the External Financing Department of the Ministry of Economy and Finance. As observers in his opening speech, he took decentralization actors present in the rooms to recall the effort made by the Minister Hamad Aramis. In his opening speech, the Secretary General of Decentralization, Mohamed Issa Faraj, said this one took this they witnessed the actors of decentralization present in the room to recall the effort made by the ministers Hamadou Mohamed Aramis for this program to materialize. He said, hardly fought to give body and consistency so this program, so much so he said that it is beginning to spread its wings as evidenced by the organizations of this workshop. The objective was to arrive at shared and appropriate criteria for everyone. The Minister of Budget organized yesterday a sensitization meeting on the new cash system for the economic operators of the places. This new system of cash register concerns two sectors, namely the hotel industries and supermarkets. This new cash register system aims to record all data relating to payments and to secure original data in order to fight against fraudulent practices and concealment. This will also secure tax revenue. Indeed, the shopkeeper present in the room have in turn questioned the local suppliers of the systems on the use and operation. This meeting was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Budget and was attended by the Director of Tax and the operator of the places concerned. For his part, the tax director explained to us the ins and outs of this new cash register system. A large delegation of the authority and Port Free Zone Authority visited yesterday in Hobyo in the region of Galmudug Somalia, led by Mr. Mohammed Aden Waberi, advisor to the president of the Authority of Port. This delegation was welcomed by the Minister of Security of Somalia, Mohammed Ahmed Maalin Fi'i. The delegation was composed of engineers and marine pilots. This visit comes within the framework of the constructions of the ports of Hobyo. Thus, this visit started with a tour of the site of Hobyo Port. Recall that the president of the region of Galmudug, Khariye, came to Djibouti for an official visit of the few days. During his stay, he had a meeting with the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margele, and the President of the Port Authority of Bakar Omar Hadi, during which they mainly discussed the project of building a port of Hobyo. For his part, Mohammed Aden Waberi, advisor to the president of the Djibouti Port and Free Zone Authority, say, "We are honored by the warm welcome we received. We have received all the necessary information for the pre-feasibility studies, and we wish to start the constructions of this port. Somajek will participate in this constructions, and we hope that this project will be successful." For his part, the Minister of the Security of the region, Mr. Ahmed Maalin, said, "I thank the Djiboutian delegations for the honor of this visit. Objective is to make a prospecting assessment of the need for the port of Hobyo." Recall that the president of Galmudug and his delegations were visited last week in Djibouti. A working meeting was held between these delegations and the Port Authority so that Djibouti provides technical and managerial assistance and benefit from their experience and expertise. The Republic of Djibouti, in these cases of the Authority Port and Free Zone, has begun a pre-feasibility and studies, and after this assessment we hope that this project will start so that the regions of Galmudug and other regions of Somalia can find a decent port, because the nearest port is that of the Bosaso with 700 kilometers, and that of Mogadishu 70 kilometers too. The purpose of the visit of the president of Galmudug was part of this project so that the inhabitants of this region can find a decent port in accordance with the international standards. The Hydrocarbon Directorate and General Directorate of Civil Protection yesterday jointly undertook a work control inspections of the brother and associate company located in Hayableh. The objective of the visit was to verify the respect of the regulations, civil security techniques, and the respect of the safety standards. The Civil Protection Department is at the technical disposal for fire protection and prevention is to enforce the policy of the security stocks of crude oil and refined product of the gas distribution companies. The director of the hydrocarbon, Wahib Ali Bullo, some elements of the civil protections and agents of the Directorate of Hydrocarbon carry out these inspections and control. In the file, note that the officials gave missing elements of the instructions for the respect of the company's rule to control fire damage of the company. After Artas region, the Al-Rahma Hospital of Balbala organizes this Friday a free medical caravan in the city of Ali Sabih in close collaboration with the Ministry of Health. Senior officials of the NGOs Al-Rahma were received by the Director General of the Regional of Arta, Mr. of Hospital, Mr. Muhammad Suge Ainan, and his close collaborator. The launching ceremony of this medical caravan, which aims at providing specialized medical care to patients in the city of Ali Sabih and its surrounding, took place in the presence of the Director of the Regional Office, Mr. Muhammad, and his close collaborator, Abdul Ghani Ismail Qureshi, the director of Al-Rahma Hospital, Mr. Dr. Muhammad Al-Sharqawi, director of the project, Ilmi Yusuf Daher, the supervisors of the project, Mr. Khalid Abu Harrag, also participate in the event. Also, the prefect of the region of Ali Sabih, Mr. Musa Adan Migane, the vice president of the regional council, Noor Saeed Geldon, as well as the general director of art of Ali Sabih Regional Hospital, Muhammad Ayan Sugi, and his close collaborator. For his part, the director of the regional offices of NGO Al-Rahma International of the state of Kuwait in Djibouti, Mr. Abdul Ghani Ismail, affirmed that the great importance of the medical caravan campaign of NGO Al-Rahma for the villages and localities, which aims at providing specialized medical care to the population, appreciating the tireless support of his offices received from the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. The NGO Rahma International is one of the main partners of the government of Djibouti in the field of development, and that's worked in various areas of charitable action, particularly in education, health, and social sectors. In his terms, the prefect of the Ali Sabih region, Mr. Musa Aden Migane, in a brief intervention, is welcomed the organizers of this free medical caravan, welcoming the effort made by Hospital Al-Rahma in Djibouti, particularly with regard to improving health conditions of citizens in the interior region of the country. During the night of September 10, 2020, at around 3 a.m., the operational centers of the gendarmerie was alerted by about hooded individuals who was forcing a cash machines belonging to one of the banks in the area. The operators immediately formed the patrols of the Anglais brigade. When the gendarmes arrived on the scene, they came fast to face to 100 individuals armed with a knife and iron bar and a screwdrivers. Faced with the gendarmerie, the perpetrators attempt to put up violent resistance using a knife to flee. Nevertheless, he was safely subdued because the ATM was damaged by the individuals. The gendarmes provided security until early mornings, at which times bank officials went to the site to take over and carry out repairs. Initial investigations have shown that this was a premeditated act due to the multiple tutorials downloaded on YouTube with the titles of How to Steal an ATM that were found on the latter's laptop. For his part, Captain Yusuf Ahmed Yusuf, commanders of the company of Djibouti, gave a brief interview to returns on this subject. Note that the jackpot is a way that the hack bank ATMs, of course, an emerging forms of crime, and especially a first in Djibouti. He said at the end of the investigations, he will be brought before the court for attempted theft and damage to property. Once again, the National Gendarmerie has demonstrated its permanent availability to respond to alerts given by good citizens concerned about the security of their country. We learned with sadness and emotions of the deaths of the deceased. Awad Ali Sabah, born in 1945 in Djibouti, former executive of the administration. He worked at the Ministry of Agriculture, Labor, and then he has the Cooperation and the Ministry of Interior. He leaves 3 girls and 3 boys, including our colleagues Nariman Awad, and 18 grandchildren and 3 grandchildren. The management and all the staff of RTD send their condolences to the families of the deceased, that God welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, political transition in Mali, the start of the new round of consultations, Mali's military leaders launched a 3-day national consultation with political parties, trade unions, and members of civil society groups facing issues at home and pressure from abroad on their plans to return to civilian rule. Approximately 500 people participate in the forum, which took place at a conference center in the capital, Bamako. The talks marked the second round of discussions between the officers who overthrew President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta last month and civilian representatives, many of whom had campaigned and hard for his resignation during weeks of protest over the country's economic and worsening security crisis. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.